You are now listening to the voice of horror.
Lock your doors, bolt your windows, and turn off the lights. Make sure the kids are safe at home, cause you're headed to the Nightwatch zone.
You think it's over now? You're wrong.
All aboard the night train.
It's over, Prime. This is the siege. I'm a man of my word.
Hey. Yeah. Dead or alive, consider this home. No killing the vibe in the Nightwatch zone. Xenomorphs hype when the lights come on. Hit like and subscribe and the show might blow. Go viral, no COVID, it's a spiral. Emotions, hand on the Bible. Only go sign on the dopest your vitals. Better tune in, yeah, you know it's vital. From Schwarzenegger to Kane Hodder, Corey G down to Harry Potter. Shit's Sigourney Weaver, love the Nightwatch zone. Come with me to the Nightwatch zone.
Well, there are two things a man should never run from, even if they cost him his life.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on a Thursday night at the Nightwatch Zone, and hopefully everyone here is having a wonderful evening. This is a special conversation I'm going to have tonight with a good friend of mine, and I hope that you guys are ready to rock and roll. Real quick, just to give a blanket hello to everyone in the chat. We're going to try to get to you guys as much as we can. Also, if you do have any questions for us, for me and my very special guest, throw them in the live chat and we will also try to get to them. I see Dan, I see Miss C, a couple of you other guys, Val, of course. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And May, what's up, May? I love it. You guys are all right, man. Kyle, what's up, bro? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. All right, so I'm not going to delay this whole thing up. Guys, tonight I have a person coming on that not only is a really phenomenal YouTube content creator, but a friend and also a really cool person. And I'm so happy that he was able to give up his own live stream tonight to come out and hang out with us. So this is going to be really cool. But let me bring him on right now, my good buddy Grande from Grande's Graveyard. What's going on, man?
What's up, brother Knight? All aboard the night train in this baby. Let's go, man. How's it going?
It's going great, man. I'm so glad that you could come on here tonight, man. Seriously, because first of all, we haven't had a chance to hang out in a while. You know, it's been a long time.
Sure.
And I'm like, man, I gotta get John on this thing, man. We got to figure this thing out. And when we talked, setting this up, I was just so happy they were like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, all right. Let's do this.
I was
thing,
excited.
man.
When you asked me, man, I was so excited because it's almost a year ago where we actually met in person at Monster Mania. And that was like a very brief encounter, but it was so surreal because that was such a fun weekend. And I was like, Knight's here somewhere waiting on photo op lines. And then that mean security guard kind of parted the seas there when we met, but we got a nice quick little selfie. My hair might have been a little alfalfa in the back, but no, nobody has to pay attention because the people were the quality of that picture, ladies and gents. And it was so surreal to meet you, man. It really was.
That's right, man. Absolutely, man. And by the way, let me just say this because I know on your social media, you know, obviously you're always just too kind and considerate, you know, and just you're throwing the flowers out saying that, you know, I've been supportive, but man, you've been supportive not only of me, but so many others, you know, that have come up around the same time. And I just want to give you a lot of credit, bro, because it means a lot. You know, I can't speak for everyone else, but I know it means a lot to me, man. And it's a cool thing. It really is, man. So thank you so much.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate it. Your support, it humbles me, and the support I've gotten from the people that watch. I see in the chat, I see Mateo, I see Sean, I see Mayanne, Miss C, so many great people that support not just my channel, your channel too. It's humbling. It really is. It humbles me that 5 people watch, let alone, hundreds. It's really it's humbling stuff.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. What's up to Neil? Neil's in the chat too,
Hell yeah,
man.
deal.
Neon Black Reviews, my good buddy Neil. Philip, what's up, Philip? Good to see you. We got so many other people. Val, Sean, what's up? What's up? What's up? Mateo, what's up? What's up? Good to see you guys. Wow. All right. May trips me out, man. I love it. The graveyard on the Nightwatch.
It's the crossover that everyone's been waiting for.
Right.
I'm repping it. I'm repping it right here, buddy.
You are, bro. Hey, listen, what people don't know, and that's why I love doing these things, because they get a little bit of behind the scenes. But when you had your shirt come out and we were talking on social media, and I was like, bro, I love your shirt. It looks awesome. And I was like, okay, so how do I get one? And then you're like, okay, well, how do I get one of yours? This is just it's just really cool stuff, man. I mean, seriously, and I do love your design, by the way. It is amazing, seriously.
Hey, I appreciate that. I sold them out too. I only printed like 25. I was like, I don't want to have 10 in my room, but I
Right.
thankfully sold them out. And then when I saw you have an actual like page, and
Yeah.
like I don't know about y'all, but Nightwatch Zone has bike shorts. I kid you not. This guy has official bike shorts. I may have a cool t-shirt, but this guy's got bike shorts. So that is the coolest thing ever, man.
Yeah.
I thought your whole merch page was so cool. And I was like, I gotta go red, my favorite color. So yeah, we did sort of a shirt swap, if you will.
Yes.
And, just to support each other. And it's a lot of
Yes.
that's what this community is all about. Never thought I'd have my own t-shirt.
Right.
But I do, and it's kind of
Right.
cool. Eventually, I'll reprint them more because there are definitely people that would like to get them still, and I definitely will reprint them for those people.
Yeah, you should open up a merch store, bro. It's easy to do, man.
I'd actually ask your help for that because I don't know where I would start, but I would definitely.
All seriousness, if you really want to do it, I'm your guy. I'll hook you up after we do this or whenever, because I didn't think I could do it. And seriously, it's not difficult. It's not difficult.
Okay,
So,
that reassures me because I'll go with you, man. You can guide me, guide that ship.
All right. What's up, Kubrick lovers in the chat? What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. All right. Haven't seen you in a while. Neil said, the man, the myth, the legend, John Grande. That's right. All right. So look, man, let's get into some. You gotta love May. She's like, I have both membership and Patreon, so a few dollars, but all for Night because he's all right. May, you're all right. Seriously, you really are. I so appreciate your support and also just the positivity you always bring to the live chat. Seriously, it makes doing this so much fun. It really does.
May is just as cool as the movie May with Angela Bettis. It's like just the same level of awesomeness.
There you go, man. So look, man, let's do this. Let's go through a couple of things. Take me back, if you can, to the beginning of your connection to horror movies. Like what got you into horror movies? What was your first horror movie? What was that journey like in the beginning for you?
I remember my grandmother had like a summer home in Pennsylvania, and it was a real, it was like a retirement community. It's a kind of rundown place, but they had a 48-hour video store. This is not Blockbuster. This is not Hollywood Video. This is 48-hour video. It was it looked like a gas station, but with no gas. And
right.
You could go in and they had a horror section, and I don't know why or what it was, always drew me to it. Like the covers, and I remember seeing the Child's Play covers and just being like enamored. And then I remember they had a little ladder that you could climb. And on the top shelf, I remember seeing all the Friday the 13th movies from 1 all the way through. I believe at that time it was probably Jason X or Freddy versus Jason. Probably I'm probably at the ripe old age of 6 here. So yeah, probably Freddy versus Freddy versus Jason hadn't come out yet. So Jason X.
Okay.
And I remember I rented the VHS tape of the original Friday the 13th with that silhouette of the killer. And then, of course, all the teens, that classic poster. That's actually right behind you. That cover art. I rented it. I watched it in the back room of this really run down retirement home. And man, I absolutely loved it, just from top to bottom. I thought it was just brilliant. Not only was it entertaining, but it made me think, and it made me think about the whole thing with the mother losing her son and the whole horrors of that, and what a mother would go through to protect the children that may not have been taken from us yet. I always thought that was so deep, and Betsy Palmer's performance, and of course the decapitation, the Savini effects, the jumping out of the water at the end. I just was like, wow, I can't wait to get the next one. And so the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and it just sort of, you know, domino affected into the horror fan I am today. And I started to get out of the mainstream and into, you know, the wonderful world of Italian cinema and J-horror and all these wonderful countries that have their own different interpretations and spins on the genre. So that's really what started it. It was that one VHS viewing of the original Friday the 13th that just created a monster in me. And I'm happy it did.
Yeah, man. You know, hey, bro, you know me. I can definitely, you know, appreciate that, because the original Friday 13th is what got me going on my horror journey too. And what a way to start it off, because like you said, you see one and then you want to see the others. And so our paths, you know, kind of were very similar as far as how we walked it. Very cool though, man. I love that story. And it's so cool because, you know, we both come from a time when we could go to a video store, right?
Yeah.
There was a magic and a majesty to that. And like you said, you'd see that artwork and you'd be like, wait a minute, what's that? You know, and of course, a lot of those horror movies have these really interesting names. You know, sometimes the names would draw me in, the name of the movie. So it's cool, man. Very, very cool stuff. Sean, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it. Danielle's in the chat too. What's up, Danielle? All right. Sean says, how much money does it cost to have a green name? Hey, man, you could join the membership. Geez, Ronan, I don't know. You got to help me out, or Val. I think you can start them off at like $4, I believe. But yeah, man. Yeah, if you want to do that, feel free. Neil's repping the truth, saying I wear my Grande's Graveyard shirt with my Nightwatch Zone hoodie.
Hell
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking about, man. That's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Miss C says Grande's Graveyard only on the Nightwatch. So, you guys, I love how people are playing around with, you know, the way we do our intros and outros and stuff. It's really, really cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. So let me ask you this too. Now, with Friday the 13th, being that you were going through that franchise, were there any particular ones that stood out to you in those early days of your horror fandom? Was a particular sequel that you gravitated towards more or watched more?
You're gonna I don't know. I actually don't know your thoughts on this movie, which would be interesting. And I know I'm supposed to be the one being interviewed, but the one that I always loved the most was Friday 5. I loved
That's
the
good.
new beginning. Loved the characters. Loved Reggie the Reckless. My first car was a 98 Buick Century. It was a piece of shit. And I called that car Reggie the Reckless because it was solid, man. And that was my car. It was Reggie the Reckless. And of course, Ethel and Junior and Demon and What's Up, Pam. I loved the characters. Pam. I loved the creative death scenes and the direction from Danny Steinman. It's like the sleaziest Friday the 13th. Of course, Debbie Sue Voorhees with her voluptuous hair. I mean, I loved Friday 5. And I actually always thought the ending, too, and the whole arc for Tommy Jarvis was brilliant, where he has to face his demons. Like, that scene in the barn, Reckless Tommy, and he has to face Jason. I mean, I always thought that was such a great movie. I know it's hated, and I don't know. I just never got that. But, man, what do you think of that one? I'm curious. I actually don't know your thoughts.
Well, you know what's funny is because now when I was growing up, I didn't not like it, but it wasn't my favorite growing up. You know, I kind of was like, okay, that was part 5. What do we got next? And over the years, it's become probably the movie in the franchise that has risen the most in my rankings, like easily the most. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's because as a kid, and this happened also with me with like Halloween 3. You know, as a kid, I used to get hung up on the fact that, well, that's Roy, you know, that's not Jason, you know. It's like how silly was I, right? You know, at least for me, my opinion, right? But I think it's a great entry to the franchise. Like you said, great characters, great deaths. It has the mystery aspect going on, so they played with that, which you really didn't have that vibe since the original to that
Yeah.
level, you know. And shout out to Deborah Voorhees and also the Melanie Kinnaman, who I had the pleasure of having on here to interview, and they are fantastic ladies. And they really it just proved to me why this movie it is a really good entry in the franchise, in my opinion. You know, so yeah, I really love Part 5. I
I'm
really,
right
really
there
do.
with you. And I would agree. I would take that even a step further with the Halloween 3. I remember
Mm-hmm.
going to video stores and having people tell me, don't rent that. I was like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
why? And well, he's not in it. I was like, what? So like, oh, he's not in it. You don't want it. And I remember people telling me like at the ready to check the movie out. Like, here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you money. Just let me,
That's right.
and oh, you don't want to do that. Rent 4 again, It's just weird, very weird how taboo that movie was. And then now I see that the movie has just garnered such a wonderful cult following. I saw actually a sold out 35 millimeter screening of it about a year ago. And it was
Wow.
one of the best theater experiences I ever had was that screening of that movie. It was just so surreal how that movie is aged. It's aged like wine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, oh man, you know, well, I know you know this. I've gone through the franchise a couple times on the channel, and the last time we did, which now might have been a year ago or so, whatever, and I rewatched the movies pretty much yearly. But when I rewatched it, I also really thought it's aged well. You know, I've really enjoyed it, and there were things in it that I think, like I said, man, it's the one that's risen the most in my rankings for the franchise. I really, really dig Part 5, and I never understood the hate for it. You know, I never hated it, but it was never at the top of my list. It was always kind of like in that bottom tier. But I never understood the actual hate for it, because at the end of the day, it was still a good horror movie. You know what I mean? Like right from A to Z, what it did. You know,
Yeah, and it's
so
still the same movie. Like it's a guy in a hockey mask picking people off.
exactly.
I never got like it's not a situation of Jason Goes to Hell where he's a demonic worm going from human to like that is different. I get. That's more like the hidden than
It
it
is
is
the
of
end,
it's the
bro.
hidden.
Listen, all right, hold on. Now, see, now I knew we get into some fun places because our good buddy Eric from Hey Internet Eric here. He loves Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh,
Now,
does he?
I can watch it. I can watch it, and there's some good things in it. There's some good things in it. You know, some practical, some of the kills, um, you know, and that type of thing. But it's never been high on my list. I understood that they were trying to do something different. What do you think about the choices that they made to do something fresh for the franchise and what Adam Marcus, the director, decided to do? What do you think about all that?
I mean, on paper, that sounds nice. It
Mm-hmm.
really does, but it didn't work. It was that franchise more so than any of them is popcorn movie. It's a popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's boobs, it's blood, it's
Mm-hmm.
mayhem, it's a good time. That's the formula of a Friday the 13th movie. And to
Right.
me, changing it up to the point where it was like, oh, we're gonna have this demonic worm possession, and like there's just no other than the Duke. To me, there's really not many good characters in the movie, and the Duke's not in it enough, really. Like
Right.
I
Duke is
like
the
John D.
best.
LeMay. I like John
Yeah.
D. LeMay, but the final I couldn't tell you the woman's name in the movie, the lead woman. I have no idea.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, just
Right.
not memorable. On
Yeah.
paper, it sounded good, but no. You look at the first 8 movies; they're practically all the same. I mean, and that's
They
what
are.
made them work. It's not like a Freddy movie where there's so many, nooks and crannies that goes into making a good one. Friday the
Mm-hmm.
13th, the simpler the better. And I think that was the issue. They just went too far, too complex. It just don't reinvent
Mm-hmm.
the wheel. Nobody reinvents the wheel. It just didn't work
Exactly.
for
Good
me.
point. No, I agree with that, man. I definitely agree with that. Mateo saying Friday 3 all the way. I love Friday 3. I've just recently been talking about it. Yeah, man. Richard Brooker, man. Rest in peace to Richard Brooker.
Yes.
You know, thank you to Shelley for bringing the hockey mask in the game. And it's and I always say this, but it's clean, it's crisp and clean, and it looks good on him, and he moves good. I love 3. I really, really do. Miss C. As long as you didn't wander into the adult section of those video stores, those posters messed up a young Miss C.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. Sean saying, I'm hoping Nightwatch gets some black t-shirts someday. We do have black t-shirts. We absolutely do. We got all the colors. I don't like all white colored t-shirts. They're just not my thing. Okay, I definitely understand that. But we do have some black ones, definitely, no doubt. Two boys in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you, Eric. Saying Grande's Graveyard. If you could have any 3 pieces of memorabilia from the Friday the 13th franchise for your own, what are you picking?
Wow, that's a tough question.
Ooh.
I'll take the mask from Friday 5, easy one. I
Ooh,
would
yeah.
take maybe the arrow that they stuck in Kevin Bacon's neck just to be like, I have this. Yeah, that would be very fun to have.
Yeah.
And maybe how about the Amy Steele sweater from that she puts on at the end of 2? That would be cool. Because I got Amy
Nice.
Steele's autograph on this April Fool's Day one sheet. So that would be cool to have
Nice.
the Mrs. Voorhees sweater that was worn by Amy Steele. That would be my 3.
Love it. Love it. Who's your favorite final girl from
Of
Friday?
that series, you have to go Amy Steele.
There you go. See, that's why you're my brother, man. We're like right on that same level, man. I'm telling you, Amy Steele, no joke. No joke. No joke. Good question, Eric. We appreciate that, man. Ronan's coming in hot with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate the support. Always appreciate it. Saying 6 months as a member. It's amazing. I'm happy to be here. I love you all so much. Much love and respect to you all. Brother, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I mean, you're always with us in the chat, making it a positive place. Thank you so much, Ronan. And Ronan, let's play this for you, man. It was a great super chat, and I'm glad to see that you're here tonight because we're going to have some fun with my man, Grande. And here we go. This one's for you.
When you find yourself at 1 a.m. in the morning with your hand in the air and a horse's ass in front of your face, that's when you know it's bad.
There it is. There it is.
That was cool.
Much love to you, Ronan. Seriously, you're all right. Denisha's in the chat. What's up, Denisha? Good to see you. All right. And we've got a couple more people jumping in. By the way, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. Also, if you have not subscribed to Grande's Graveyard, please take the 3 seconds to go and subscribe right now. We got the link in the description, and I know we had the link in the live chat. Miss C or Val or anyone, if you could put the link in the live chat again for those who are not currently subscribed to Grande's Graveyard, you will not regret it. All right. Sean says, I looked, I didn't see any black ones, but I'll look again. Yes, we do. Trust me, I designed them. And if it's not there, let me know because something's wrong with the site. But we've got a black one with the logo. It's just like that, Grande has on, except it's not red, it's black. Okay, so cool. So, I'm glad we got to Friday the 13th because, I love Friday the 13th. I got my box set right here. Always crisp. I love it. Now, let me ask you this. As far as physical media for Friday the 13th, do you have any special physical media of Friday the 13th or any collections or anything like that?
I have the original, the Crystal Lake to Manhattan box set, which was for years. That was my jam. I loved it.
Yes.
The Shout Factory one I didn't buy. However, when I had a really bad, I mean, I know you know this obviously, but for people in the chat, I had a really bad bout with COVID.
Yes.
And it was really close. I mean, I was very close to death, like 1-2 days from death. And I made it out, thankfully. And good brother Don Belleville, I think he still has a channel on here. Don Belleville, he sent me the whole box set when he heard I got out of the hospital. He was like, take it. I'll buy another one. I was like, dude, are you crazy? He was like, no, it's all you. I said, I'm happy you made it. I was like, all right, I understand. So big shout out to Don. Love you, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, I got that and a couple standard editions of them all scattered out elsewhere. But yeah, no, I do have the creme de la creme set now, thanks to him.
Nice. Very, very cool. And yeah, in the chat, definitely Sean saying, let's get Grande more subs. It's kind of sad he hasn't even passed 800 already. Well, that's one thing I wanted to kind of touch upon. Number one is, for you guys, definitely sub to my man if you haven't. But YouTube it's a weird game, man, because, a lot of times it's a question of how many eyes that see your channel, and the algorithm is, God, man, it's like the Rubik's Cube. You know what I'm saying? Like you cannot figure it out. I don't know many people that I've ever talked to, YouTubers that is, especially ones that have a lot of experience. I'm talking about 8, 9, 10, a dozen years of experience. A lot of them still don't know, how to work the algorithm as far as being a content creator. For you, what was the thing that got you wanting to do YouTube and start a channel? Because it's a long road and it's a tough road to walk to be a content creator, in my opinion. But what are your thoughts on it?
It's definitely a hard road to walk. There's no doubt
Mm,
about that. And it's. I know a lot of people. They say, "Oh, I'm going to do it," and then they do it for a few months or a few
right.
weeks, even like a few days. It could really be that short sometimes because
Hmm.
if you're not in a rhythm, forget it. Like then it's just, oh, I'll upload when I can, and that there are
Hmm.
some people that do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, how it all started was I was in college and they were kicking back up the radio station and
Hmm.
everyone was applying for shows and people, I don't know if people know this, of these people that watch my channel every week, it initially probably never would have happened if the initial proposal that I sent got accepted. I initially said I want to do fantasy football. And I said, why don't I do fantasy football? That'd be fun, like a half hour show where I give recommendations on how to set your lineup or whatever the hell.
Hmm.
And they were like, that's cute, but we already have like 5 sports shows. We already have a comic show. We have this, we have that. We don't have pop culture. What do you know about pop culture? I was like, I'm the biggest horror fan that I know. And they were like, horror. They were like, you want to do a show about horror? And I said, yeah. And I said, I can come on every week and talk about horror movies. And they were like, yeah. And I remember they like huddled like a football, like a fantasy football huddle. They huddled up. They
Wow.
were like looking at me. They were like, all right, come up with a name. And so I sent out the chat, the on Instagram. I was like, I need a podcast name. Somebody come up with it. And I see
Mm.
Jonathan Schwartz is here. He is the one that named Grande's Graveyard Grande's Graveyard. He said
Nice.
Grande's Graveyard, and I love the alliteration, love the sound. And I said to them, I said, Grande's Graveyard, that sounded like a plan. And they said, okay. They said, you start next Thursday. And that became the show. I did it every day live at 3:05 on campus after class. I was working security overnights at that point. So I would go to class, I would do Grande's Graveyard, and then I would go straight to work. It was like that rotation for a good 2 years. And
Mm.
before I started uploading them to YouTube, and then when college was ending, I was getting sad. I was like, I'm going to miss doing the graveyard.
Mhm, mhm,
Decided I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this full time. Let me do this live every Thursday night that I work days now and not do
mhm,
security, graveyard shift, if you will, no pun intended. But
mm,
I just fell in love with doing it and all the wonderful people that I've met through it and had the privilege to talk through to it. I mean, I've met so many wonderful friends through Grande's Graveyard and had so many fun discussions about different stuff. It's not just mainstream. It's every week I try to do something different to keep it fresh because if you
mhm.
do the same thing over and over, it becomes stale. And that's the last
Right,
thing I want to be is stale. I want to be different. I don't care if I
right.
have 600 subscribers. I don't care if I have 600,000. I want to be fresh. I want to be having a good time. And that to
Mhm,
me is what the show has been over the past year or two. So I'm very, very humbled and privileged to have been able to do the show as long as I have and for the quality I think that it's been.
absolutely, man. Well, I think what I like about you, and I think the first time I saw you, it might have been through either Corey or it might have been through, I don't think it was through Neil. But anyways, I think it was through Corey. And I remember the first time I had watched you, I was just like, you gotta love this guy, because I just think that, first of all, you have a passion for see, this is how I look at it, man. I mean, we're all big horror fans, right?
Sure.
And there's something about that that always attracts you to that other person, to some degree, sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot. So as soon as I saw that you had a really great passion for horror, but also a lot of knowledge, right? Like you said, you could talk about Friday the 13th, you could talk about a movie that's, very modern, you could talk about foreign horror, you could talk about things that are like more indie, you were talking about everything, and I was like, I love it. I love it because, growing up, I used to watch everything too, and so I immediately gravitated towards you. And I've said it before, and I think I said it the last time you were on here, but in my opinion, and I watch a lot of YouTube, I always have, even before I started doing YouTube. But in my opinion, man, as far as doing live streams, you got it, man. Like you're the guy. You just have this way to really just engage. And even for me, when I was starting, and I remember when I first met you, and we kind of started to kind of talk a little bit or whatever. I was like, man, it was just so inspirational, I guess is what I'm saying, man. So hell of a lot of credit to you. And the thing that's even more impressive is watching you over this course of time. You're getting even better. It's like, holy crap, man. Now he's like, there's a certain like ease that you have. And people get that as they do it longer and longer. But definitely, man, you do a hell of a job, seriously. And doing live isn't easy. It really isn't, or at least in my opinion. I don't know. Do you find it easy? Because actually, that's a good question. Do you find it
I
easy
love it, to be honest. I really love it. I love doing live. I'd rather that than sit here and edit 300 different
Me
things.
too.
And, oh, I'm going to add this and that. I number one, I don't have time for that. And number two, I just find it so much more organic if I come on the camera and just say my thoughts. If it's micromanaged, it's just too clean. It's too organized. I don't like that. To me, YouTube is a guy, back in the day, just holding up a DVD. This is what I think. That's YouTube to me, but I'm old school. I'm old, even though I'm younger. It's old school to me, and that's how I did it. But that's a funny thing you mentioned with the people getting comfortable. I noticed. It's funny. Her first live show was with me and you when we had Rainbow on with the Horror Roundtable on my channel. I remember reaching out to her, and she initially was like, "I can't." I was like, "Why?"
Right.
She said, "I'm a little nervous. The live stream thing. I've never done it." And now look at her. She is blossomed and grown, and I am so happy for her. I'm so stoked for her. She's not only a great person and content creator, but she's a really good live personality now. And all of that, I remember talking with her, being like, "You can do it. We're going to be with you and have fun." And I was so thrilled to see how much her channel has grown. Shout out to Rainbow Fright. Great people.
Yeah, Rainbow Fright is really, really amazing. And let me just say, I'll say it now as an announcement. I'm going to have her on for an interview too soon, and I'm really excited for that. And but yeah, you're right. She's amazing, because I remember her saying that. And I remember once I was talking to her, and I forgot what we were looking to do, but she had said the same type of stuff. She's like, "Well, I'm not really good at live. I know that's kind of your thing, but blah, blah, blah." And it's so cool to see her now, because it's looking so natural. And again, it's the type of thing where some people, they gravitate to it naturally, like we did. And then there's others that when they find it, they hit the ground and they run, baby.
Yes.
They run. And she's an amazing example of that. So definitely shout out to our good friend DeRay from Rainbow Fright. Yes. Let me catch up to the chat real quick, because I know some of these guys are probably asking some questions too, man. Miss C saying, if there was one Italian movie you could remake, would you? And what would it be? Or would you rather make your own Italian movie?
Oh, I would rather make my own Italian movie. I would hit up Matteo Appendino, and me and him would fly to Italy together, and we'd start brainstorming ideas. I want to make a giallo with Matteo. That would be a lot of fun, man. That would be
nice.
Because Matteo is straight out of Italy, so I'd hit him up, be like, "Yo, we got the budget. We're going to Italy right now." So I don't know. I'm half Italian, so I don't know if it really would be an Italian film, because my other half is Irish. So I don't know, but hey, I would give it my best go. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
There you go. All right. Very, very cool, man. Sean saying, I put a ton of money in my channel, but that's just how I am. And I never ask people for money, since I just want people to watch my content. Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, there's a lot of people that definitely they do it because it's fun. You have other people that if they get to the point where it's actually, their job or their livelihood, it's a totally different story. And I've actually been on both sides of that coin. Depending on what your situation is with work. And I know you, like you were mentioning earlier, you got, a job situation too. And it makes it tough, as a YouTuber. How do you, I know for me, I have to be scheduled, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like you, every week, already know what we're going to do. And obviously sometimes I can, kind of mess it up and fudge around with it, but in general I know exactly what I'm going to do week to week, just so that I can stay balanced with my work, because I have two jobs. So it's crazy. But how do you balance your job life and YouTube life? Is it difficult or easy?
It's very difficult, and I always say this: that Grande's Graveyard is the job I do for free. Like I get
Mhm.
paid in passion and
Mhm.
therapeutic like reasoning. Like I love to talk with people. I love to just be passionate with the people in my chat, and that's definitely why I do it. I mean, that's my compensation back. I'm not getting any money
Mhm.
back. I'm not. Granted, I mean, I did the shirts. That was fun. That was something I did. That was more of a gimmick than a, oh, click here and I have 100 shirts available. No, I just printed 25.
Right.
Was like, anybody want one, please? And thankfully, we got 25 people that said yeah. So I mean, that was cool. But what I do is I work my 8 to 5 and I literally lay it out. So let's say if
Mhm.
I'm doing 3 movie reviews, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night. That's what I'm doing. I don't have time for plans.
Mm.
I don't have time to go out. I'm watching those movies with those nights, and then
Right.
I'm doing my research. Then I'm reading about the movies. I'm watching
Yes.
reviews. I'm going as hard as I can to make sure I know everything I can to know about that movie and try to bring it to the conversation come Thursday. That's like my
Mhm.
gimmick with it.
Yeah.
Certain shows are harder to prepare for others. If I do a top 10, forget. I
Mhm.
mean, then it's a week. Then it's if
Yeah.
I do like I'm doing Tales from the Crypt season 1 and 2. That's been my life the past few nights is Tales from the
Mhm.
Crypt. All right, throw a movie in there every now and again. But yeah, it's a job that you don't get compensated for, but it's a lot of fun because it's so rewarding. It's like, yeah, I'll do and put up with my 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, but man, Grande's Graveyard on Thursday nights, live at 8:05. That's my passion right there,
Right.
and it's
Yeah,
just so
man.
sweet, man. You can't take that one away from me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And that's a good point too about the prep work. The prep work is that's a big part of it. I mean, it's the fun part of it as well because you get to watch these things, but like you said too, you got to research other things than just watching the movie. Sometimes you got to find out about, the actors and their filmography or the director and maybe the behind the scenes of the movies and stuff like that. And I don't know about you, but for me, that's always the thing that takes up the most time because you never know how much of it you need to do, but you've got to have it all situated because when you're on live, there's no safety net. You're live. You have to be prepared. And so, again, for anyone that does live streams, especially if you do them regularly like you do, I have the utmost respect because I know exactly how much time it has to take to be prepared to be live in front of people and make sure that you know what you're talking about or at least know as much as you can about what you're talking about. It's really it's something, man. It
It
really
is.
is.
I
Yeah.
agree completely with you.
Yep. Neil saying, "I found Night through Grande." There it is. It is funny the web because I found Neil. Geez, I don't know. I think I found Neil through you. Holy shit, that's right.
It all
It's
works.
it's crazy, man. It really is. But I've always said this, and you said it a little bit a while ago. One of the best parts of doing this is forming the friendships, man. And finding the like-minded
Yes.
people, having a laugh with someone. A lot of times people, I think they don't value, and I'm not talking about us and not really our community, but I think a lot of times people they don't they underestimate the value of a good laugh, or just that connection with another person. And we as content creators, we're able to get that in spades, just because we took a chance on starting a channel and talking in front of people. And it's a blessing, man, to be friends with so many people and find people through other people. It really is cool, man.
It's so true, man. All the wonderful people I've met through this and just different personalities. Like Mernsey. I had Mernsey on a couple weeks ago. He is one of the funniest human beings I've ever met in my life. And I never would have been connected to him if it wasn't for Instagram horror community or Grande's Graveyard. And the guy watches my show all the time. It's just humbling that we were total strangers a few months ago. And now we're buddies
Yeah.
talking, shooting the breeze today. And it's just so cool to see. And I also am always like astonished by like all over the world. So some people from Canada, some people from the West Coast, South, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just so cool to have this. That's the biggest like positive to me of the internet is how many wonderful people you can meet through it, and then like that's the beauty of live streams. And I would say
Mhm.
this too. Sometimes and I do a lot of solo shows. Like I know a lot of people, and thank you, Mateo. I know a lot of people they can't do a solo show by themselves. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming. I
Mhm.
love to have the chat there to bounce off the ideas off people. I'll be
That's
saying
right.
something, someone will go, what about this? And we'll just go. Like it's to me that the ultimate guest on Grande's Graveyard is the chat. And I
Yeah.
love working. Murd, there he is. I see, I told you he was funny.
Lindsay.
Told you he was funny.
Strangle the grizzly bear with his own bare hands. I love it. I love it. Yeah, man. The chat definitely. It's great to be. And Neil, you're right. DeRay's channel is absolutely amazing. She's on another.
Great
She's on
people.
another level, man.
Different kind of talent. She's so good.
She is. She really, really is. But you're right. You know, when you can sit there and hang out with the chat and really just kind of bounce off of each other, and I love doing that too, man. Usually more so on my Thursday mornings, I get a chance to do that. Just kind of be alone with the chat, and it's fun, man, because you never know what's going to happen, and that's the fun of it. The conversation could go in so many different directions, and I love it. You know, it's like, because you don't always get a chance to talk to everyone every stream. So the way I look at it is, the more I can, be available, doing that type of stream where I'm just, acknowledging the chat and answering questions from the chat, I figure at some point I'm going to get to everybody. You know what I mean? If you're doing it regularly, week after week after week. But you're right. It's fun. I absolutely love it.
Me too.
No doubt.
To me, it's the best part. I just love it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And look who came in. Our good buddy Erickson. Hey, Internet Eric here. You know what? Now I don't think he heard us earlier, but he Jason goes to hell. He says, I can't stay long, but wanted to show some support to you two fools. Grande's Graveyard is one of the most low-key and fun channels when it comes to live streams, even if he hated the Elm Street remake. Yes. We love you, Eric. You know that.
Absolutely.
Oh man, you're all right. Philip saying, I found Nate because of Craven. Yeah, my good buddy Craven, something scary. It is so many cool people that we connect with. I mean, seriously, it's a blessing, this community. And it's growing, and we're getting more connections, which is better too. So Ronan, you're making me hungry, brother. Look at that. Japanese ramen recipe. Wow. Dang, man. It sounds good.
A meal right there, buddy.
Right? Oh my gosh. Nice. Brian saying, yeah, I try to do guitar streams on my channel on Sundays in the evening around 6 or 7. Mentioning that because you guys are talking about streaming. Yeah, man, streaming is a fun thing, man. And I'm so glad that I started doing it, because that was really my big foray into doing my channel, which obviously led me to, meeting other people, and obviously with you, man. It's fun. It is really, really fun. No doubt. Neil says, I've got John off on a tangent once or twice.
Yeah.
Right. May, you're too sweet. Both Knight and Grande know how to acknowledge the chat so well. Makes us feel welcome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's fun to do. It's not always the easiest to do, because you're talking about something and you want to make sure that you acknowledge people, and if they have questions, you want to answer them, but you're trying to kind of keep a certain don't forget this person, don't forget that person. But yeah, I mean, we love doing it, man.
Absolutely.
Eric said that's okay about the remake though. Yes. Grande and I share a love for Sleepaway Camp 2. Sleepaway Camp 2 is awesome. It is awesome, no doubt about that.
One of my faves.
Yeah. Yep. Now, Sean was asking, what's your most hated Friday the 13th movie?
Well, if Eric's still here, it is Jason Goes to Hell. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Eric.
There it is. Oh, man. It's all good. He hears me say it enough, so he's used to it.
See, we're on the same page, though, and I'm pretty sure you're not a fan of the Elm Street remake, unless I'm.
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
You know what was funny is because, we went through the Elm Street series just recently, and when we got to the remake, it was funny because it was just me and Killian on, and Eric comes into the live chat. He's already like, okay, I'll be the only one holding up the flag tonight. Da, 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 da. I mean, don't get me wrong. It has moments. I think they just had so many missed opportunities, in the Elm Street remake. I really, really do. And I mean, yeah, I don't even want to get into all that, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, because I've seen a lot of bad movies that I couldn't even finish. So there's that for you, Eric. There's that for you.
Absolutely.
Oh man. Let's see. What else have we got here to catch up with folks? And then we'll get to our next question. Sean said, good timing. That's right, man. He says, all good. Jason Worms for life. Still better than the Friday the 13th remake. Stop it, Eric. Stop the lying. Come on, man. Stop the lying. Oh, man.
Worms for life.
He's something, man.
Worms for life.
You got to love it, man. Miss C saying, don't ever say I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Grande's lives. My first introduction to a Grande rant.
Oh, that's for clarification. That's about the 2003 remake, not the original Tobe Hooper film, which is my second favorite horror movie ever.
There it is.
The remake, though. Yeah, I remember she was like, all I said was I liked it. And I was like, this movie. Oh, my rants get bad. But we're PG on the Nightwatch Zone tonight, ladies and gentlemen. No worries. The gloves are on.
PG-13, you know, we could make an exception. We
I
could
get
make
one
an
F word.
exception. you could throw an F word around me. I don't care about that. I don't care. Well, let me ask you this, since we're on that, and Eric, take care, man. Love you. Talk to you soon, brother. With the remake, and I have heard you talk about it, so you know, but for these guys here who may not know your thoughts on it, what were your issues with the Texas Chainsaw remake versus the OG?
Okay, first and foremost, that's not a movie you can remake. It's just that the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was, in my opinion, the biggest like example of lightning in a bottle in cinema history. Not even just horror movie cinema. It was that cast, that crew, that director, that place, that time. I think if you had tried the same thing 5 years later with more or less money, it still wouldn't have been the same. It just was a time capsule.
Good
it
point.
Was the fact that none of them felt like actors, the dread of that film. It's, to me, one of the few perfect movies ever made. I love the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Literally my second favorite horror movie ever behind Dawn of the Dead.
It is.
Okay, so right there, it's hard to remake it. Even though, look, hey, I like the Dawn of the Dead remake, and that's my favorite movie ever remade. So it's not to say that I just went into it. Oh, you can't remake this. I hate it already.
Right.
Like, no, I was fair. That's totally fair. I like the Dawn remake. Hated the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Number one, they never imply that they're cannibals. There's about 50 family members. All of the people in the van look like they're from a bag of Abercrombie and Fitch. They don't look like they're just awful. Then I know other people, oh, Grande, but Daniel Pearl was the cinematographer, and they do the really cool shot between the hitchhiker who blows it. No, that woman is not half as good as Ed O'Neill, and it's a good picture. There's no human being alive that could have made that work like Ed Neal did. I just think it's so bad. And Arlie Ermey being the Full Metal Jacket Arlie Ermey, and you give me 100 push-ups, and
right.
Oh my god! And the little bucktooth kid running around. No offense to bucktooth kids out there, but oh my, like her running around. I'm like, god damn, what am I watching? And all their horrible names: Kemper, Pepper, Kemp, Pepper, Salt. No, it's a bunch of nonsense. I hate that movie. I'll forever hate that movie. Marcus Nispel is not a good filmmaker. I see Neon Black. Yeah, Jessica Biel's white shirt. Yeah, that's possibly the only positive there. But man, you turned the idyllic summer afternoon nightmare and you turned it into a shit show. I hate that movie. I will always hate that movie. One of the bottom remakes. Horrible.
Now, okay. Look at Neil and Jessica Biel's white shirt.
Yeah, that's a positive. I agree with him.
You gotta love him, man. He's all right. Now listen. I don't feel strongly like that about the remake. Although I do feel, well, I did like the Dawn of the Dead remake, but there's things about it that they did that I was kind of like, this isn't even close to what Romero was doing. And Zack Snyder is talented. But I get it. It shows how fair you are, because like you said, Dawn is your favorite horror film of all time, but you still enjoyed or actually really loved the remake.
Yeah.
So it's not a question of you being against remakes. You're just taking everything as it's presented to you, which I think is the mark of a really good movie fan. You know, you got to just take them as they come. Don't have too many biases and just see what happens. That being said, what about things? We know you don't like the Elm Street remake. What about the Friday remake? What do you think of the Friday remake?
The Friday remake, it's funny enough, it's directed by the same guy, Marcus.
That's right. That's why I was thinking it.
However, here's the difference there. It wasn't a shot-for-shot remake. It's not telling the same story with the mother. It's really just a 1 through 4 if you meshed them all into one movie that came out in 2009. That's the remake of
Right.
that. And it still does stick to the formula of boobs. There's a lot of boobs. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of mayhem. It has those things. It's very unimpressive. It does not have very memorable characters. It's definitely no Friday 4 with it says you're a dead fuck and the computer don't lie. It doesn't have
don't lie.
those colorful characters that a Friday 5 and horse shit, I'm Ethel. And you know, I just love the characters. Like I think that remake, the characters are really rough. The direction, the music in that movie is horrible.
Yeah,
It
you know, I
sounds
was
like
so surprised it was so bad,
it
man.
was
You're right.
terrible. It sounded like machinery running. That's all like, how do you go from Harry Manfredini's scores, which are all wonderful in their own wonderful way, and you have just machinery music? I mean,
That's
horrible music. It's one of those movies, it's passable. I can watch it. It's not one of the worst remakes out there. But I always say this, he really tried to make a bad remake. Like he tried, but the formula was so easy, not even he could mess it up. So that's kind of how I feel about that movie. Indifferent, not bad. It's fine.
Yeah. Look, you gotta love Eric. He always likes to stir the pot, saying, "I prefer the TCM remake over the original. Later, boys, I'm out." I love you, bro. You know, it's so funny too because Eric is a great example, obviously, of a really good friend, but he's so knowledgeable as well. But I'm telling you, he will talk about a movie that you may hate that he loves. And at least for me, sometimes he makes me sit there and think a little bit like, well, maybe there are some aspects of Jason Goes to Hell that are actually pretty good, you know. So like I love hearing him talk about his thoughts just like you do. You know, you really like some people will just say, well, I love this because it's great, or they'll say I hate it because it sucks. You know, it's like getting inside of the thoughts and the reasoning, and sometimes the personal stories can be a part of that as well. That's what I like to always hear from people, and that's what gives me a sense, if nothing else, to respect their feelings or their thoughts, because you know we're not going to all love the same things, we're not all going to hate the same things. That's just how it is, that's how life is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Eric brings that. Eric has a nice, I always like to watch Eric's reviews. I don't have to agree with what he says. He's always nice about it and respectful about it. So that's
Super
what definitely
respectful.
gravitates you towards Eric. He's just such a nice guy.
Yeah, super respectful, man. He's awesome. What's up, Jim? From Now It's Dark. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. We got some other people jumping in here, and welcome to everyone jumping in. I hope you guys are doing well. Hales in the chat saying, "Hey, Night and Grande, what was the first movie that exposed you to the horror genre, and how old were you?" We talked about that a little while ago, but if you want to do a quick answer for him, I'll let you do that, man.
Quick answer: Friday the 13th. It just hit me in all the right places, man. That'd be my quick answer. How about you? It was Friday the 13th for you too, right?
Yeah, it was the original Friday.
Same answer.
It was, man. It was one of those nights where they were doing the marathons, and I had to have been at least, I was maybe 7 years old, and I was afraid of horror movies, though. You know, they scared me. And it was one night where Friday 13 was playing, and I said, you know what? Let me just try to get through this damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So I watched it. And of course, you know, the stinger at the end with Alice and Jason coming up and like scaring the shit out of me. And I was like, you know, but I was like, all right, I made it. I'm all right. Boom. I loved it ever since. As far as horror movies, that was the start of it for me, man. So, you know, I'll always have a special place for Friday 13th. Always.
Magic. Just magic, baby.
Always, man. Let's see who else we got going on in here. Neon. Eric drops an absolute bomb and walks out. That's right. Oh, love it. I love it. And I know Neil loves the original as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's his favorite movie. Yeah, Neil's review on that is awesome.
Yes, dude. You know what else? I also loved his reviews on Romero's Dead movies too, man. Like, you know, every once in a while when I get a chance for any of you guys, because when I go to work, I'll have time, you know, pockets of time to just kind of like listen to people and watch people. And I'll never forget, I went through a couple of Neil's you know, reviews like in a row. I was like I was like doing a row, and He's just a cool dude, man. He's just a cool dude, and I like the way he talks and explains things, and he's just so down to earth about it. So, and I think for me, anyways, I think that's a common theme that I enjoy out of YouTube content creators. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of kicking back with this person and listening to them talk about movies. I love
Yeah,
it.
he's old school. I love the way he reviews movies. I used to do like just
Hmm.
15 minutes and then talking about a movie and he just lists off and there's no edits. Usually, rarely, at least I don't know. I know he does some edits now, I think, but no,
Hmm.
I enjoy his content. Neil's a very nice guy, so
Yeah, he is. He
nothing but
is, and
respect.
absolutely, man, and I'm so glad to have gotten close to him, man. He's really, really cool. Dan's in the chat too, another person who's just awesome when talking about
All
movies,
super
Mr.
nice
Dan.
guy.
Yeah, and it's cool how, again, we have these moments where we meet people and become friends with them. Dan's one of those folks, but you got to love this. He said, "Well, how about the Maniac remake?"
Very good. I like the
Nice.
Maniac remake. Frank
Yeah.
Calhoun did a good job. I liked the POV stuff. I thought it was a very good remake.
Yeah, I thought so too. It felt a lot different, but kind of still had some familiar things going on. But I dug it too. It was creepy. So they found a way to make it creepy, and but it was still different. It was different enough from the
Yeah.
original.
You're
Yeah.
never going to recapture that New York City grit and Joe Spinell.
No.
You just weren't going to do that. So I liked that they made
Mm-mm.
it completely different and just kept the name and just went from there. And I thought that was a
Mhm.
really smart way to take it. To me, a very good remake.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Ronan coming in saying, all respect, but the remake Leatherface is scarier than the original fat out of shape. No chance in hell chasing me down, Leatherface. Let's be real here. Ronan. Look, hey, I'll tell you what though. When I saw the OG, I'll never forget when I first saw the OG. This was obviously after I saw Friday 13th, and I don't know how far it was after I started getting into horror, but when I saw the OG, that movie, it got to me, man, because
Oh,
it felt real. It
yes.
felt real. The way that Toby Hooper shot it, and like you said, it just had this realistic vibe. All the actors, they felt like they were just, like you said, they were right off the street. There was no polish to it at all. And there were a lot of scenes that got me, but that scene where Sally first comes into contact with Leatherface right in the woods, and Gunner's chasing her, right, with the chainsaw, and it looks like he's literally like 5 inches away from
Yeah.
her. That scene where she's running and because Gunner was so big, right? And he's just like hulking over her as he's running. Man, I was in the basement that night watching it alone in the dark. I was freaked out, man. I'll never forget that.
That's
Never,
the best
ever.
way. That's the
Oh,
best
man.
way. It's the same for
Oh,
me. It
yeah.
scared the crap out of me, man. I've always
Yeah.
loved that movie, man. There's so few that are as good as TCM.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and definitely shout out to all, and it's sad to say, man, we've lost so many of our horror legends and stuff, man. But
True.
yeah, all of them definitely rest in peace. But I was going to say Marilyn Burns, man, underrated, so underrated. Sally Hardesty, as far as being a final girl, I think she just did a hell of a job, and especially in that final half of the movie, man, the stuff that she was going through and the emotional spectrum that she traveled. Whew, hell yeah.
You hear her scream, you know it. Like she to me is the ultimate like scream queen because that scream is just distinct. Like oh
Yeah.
my god! And I was also recently I did Video Nasty special where I discussed Eaten Alive, and she's in that as well, screaming her head off. Man, that she was just great. She was such a good
Mm-hmm.
talent, really
She
beautiful lady
was.
too. May she rest in peace. So
Yeah.
many people from that
Yeah.
movie are gone, sadly.
I know. It is sad. Yeah, she was absolutely amazing. Like I said, man, she was amazing. I absolutely love her. Neil saying it's okay to disagree with me on any movie, even TCM. Although Carrie Crave Cinema, our good friend Carrie Crave Cinema, made me almost strangle my cat on a live stream once. What the heck? Neil, I tell you, you're all right, man. Ronan saying, all you have to do with the original Leatherface is fight him off for a while. He'll get tired. He's fat. Oh gosh. Oh man, you guys are killing me, man. Let's see. Two boys saying Grande's Graveyard. What is the top 3 on your horror bucket list? Ooh, wow.
My
That's a
bucket
good one.
list. So that would just be top 3 horror movies, period, or is that like top 3 before I die? Is that what the bucket list part of it?
I guess so.
Yeah. I was so Dawn of the Dead. Romero's Dawn of the Dead's my favorite movie ever. I love Dawn of the Dead. Just I bleed that movie. Then it would be
Mhm.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be number 2, and then number 3 probably The Shining. I think those are 3 10 out of 10 perfect horror movies. It wouldn't change a thing about them. So definitely love those. An
Nice.
honorable mention would be like stuff like Carrie, stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street, Cannibal
Mhm.
Holocaust. Those some of the best horror movies for me.
I love that list, man. I really do.
Thank
Neil
you.
saying, "Y'all are too kind." Hey, man, we're just speaking the truth, brother. You rock. You rock. No doubt about it. Let's see what else we got going on here. Brian was saying Dawn of the Dead remake was good, not as good as the other one. Oh, okay. So Brian, so you're a fan of with the original, I should say then. And I can agree with that because Dawn of the Dead. Well, let's get into Romero because I know you love Romero. As a matter of fact, for me, um, I absolutely love Romero, no doubt about it. And I don't know a lot of other people, maybe other than my good friend Gorephobe, who are just so hardcore about him as a filmmaker. But I know that you are. What do you think, if you were to describe it, what do you think makes Dawn of the Dead so special? And when you think about the original trilogy, the original Dead trilogy, how do you rank them? Obviously, Dawn would be first, but how do you rank the other two?
I would go dawn, day, then night, but I love they're all perfect movies to me. I love all 3 of them. You really arguably the best horror trilogy that there is. It
Mm,
really is great. And what makes Dawn of the Dead my favorite movie, to me, it's just the fact that it has everything. It has
yeah,
horror, it has comedy, it has drama, it has action, it has adventure, it has Western elements. Hell, it's a biker film for some of it. It has the fun Tom Savini special makeup effects with the blue zombies and the Crayola red gore and
that's right.
the unbelievable acting. And it's so surreal. I just got to meet this guy a couple months ago, and Ken Foree is the lead, and Peter. I just thought he did such a good job of surreal meeting him a couple months ago.
Nice.
Scott Reiniger as of course, the larger than life Roger. I loved him.
Mhm.
Of course, David Emge in the movie is Flyboy, Galen Ross. Just loved the cast. And I always thought it was amazing. He hired 2 of them from a diner. He was out to eat
Right.
at a diner, and the fry cook, I believe, was David Emge, and the waiter was Scott Reiniger. And he's like, "Hey, how would you 2 like to try to act in a movie?" And he hired, that was half of his main cast was these 2 guys that worked in the diner, and they gave Academy Award nominating performances, like, to me at least. I just thought they were so good and
Yeah.
just genuine, man. And I always love that movie. I think it's just so fun. It has everything. It's the movie that is most grand. It just there's no
Mm.
movie that has more to it layers wise than Dawn of the Dead. It's my favorite. Always will
Yeah,
be.
man. I hear you, man. It is a great movie, man. There was a time, and I still do watch it a lot, but there was a time when my schedule was a certain way and I'd have to get some sleep in the middle of the day. And a lot of times I would just be, kind of just chilling out in my room and I would put on Dawn of the Dead, man. It was like some months. That was like my regular thing. I would just put it on, and just I don't know so much if it relaxed me, but it was just so much fun to just have it on. And it's multiple things. The story, the colors, like you said, the music. I mean, the music too,
Oh,
man. It's like
Goblin, man. Such a great
Goblin.
score. The gong.
Yeah.
It just every time I hear that, I want to just break out into dance or something, man.
You're right.
Shamelessly.
It's true, man. It's true. Um, Now, Two Boys is explaining about his question, saying he meant like going to see a set or meeting a certain director or actor is what he meant by a bucket list. Your top three.
Well, I did meet Romero, but if I was like a set, that would be probably Dawn of the Dead would definitely be one of the sets. I would love to have been on the set of Suspiria. That would have been really cool to
Oh,
be
yeah.
with Argento, in the
Hmm.
prime of his career. That would have been something absolutely surreal. And
Yeah.
then I would absolutely these movies, Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, just to meet Pamela Springsteen, because that's my number one bucket list actress I wanted to meet, and I don't think she'll ever do convention. There is no one that
Uh,
has tried harder to contact her than me, man. I wish to God
uh,
she'd do an interview or whatever, but nah, she's just not. I don't think she's about the community, unfortunately, which is a shame because she's my favorite
yeah.
performance ever. I just love her in those movies.
Yeah, man. No, she did a hell of a job. That would have been really cool if you could have gotten the chance, you know what I mean, to meet her, or either, like you said, have a conversation or an interview or something like that. I mean, that's just, but you know what, man? I mean, and and I never say this for any, not giving any false hope, but you just never know. You just never know, you know.
Hey man, fingers crossed. I would love. I mean, Felissa Rose is wonderful. She signs that sleepaway camp stuff for free sometimes. I mean, she came around to a
Yeah.
screening they did of the trilogy, and she came signed for free. I mean, that was like that's unheard
Wow.
of. But man, Pam Springsteen. The only issue is when your brother's Bruce Springsteen, that you don't really need the money that a convention could provide you. So
Right.
I can understand why she doesn't, but man, I just if I ever met her, I don't know, I would probably fanboy out. I'm a very rare fanboy guy, but I would be like, this is why I love this performance. I would just go off. I would give her a grande like spiel, man.
Yeah. Well, man, I can understand that, man, because um, when you get a chance to meet some of these guys, like I remember a couple years ago, I got the chance to meet Adrian King,
Oh,
and
cool.
we were chilling out at this convention. It was so low key. We got to hang out with Adrian King for like 15, 20 minutes. And man, I must have gotten at least 4 or 5 hugs from her. And I kept telling her, you're the reason I'm a horror fan, and it was just so cool. She was such a nice, so that's the best part, man, is that when you meet them and you find out that they're as nice as you always dreamed that they were. Cause she was like that. She was just so kind and so humble. And it man, I was fanboying out, man. It was Coriander
I
was
don't
probably
blame you.
laughing her ass off at me, But of course, it was cool because we also got to meet Kane Hodder,
Huh.
and we got to sit with Kane Hodder while he was signing autographs. I don't know how that happened. He just kind of, when me and Coriander went up to the table and we were telling him, "Hey, we love you. We're fans from the '80s, blah blah blah," and he just started talking to us, and we didn't want to hold up the line. He was like, "Well, no, come over here and sit down with me," and I was like, "What?" And we sat down with him for like 20 minutes. It was crazy. Kane Hodder. I was like, bro, my bucket list of people I gotta meet, that was one of them, and
Yeah,
it was so cool, man. It was so cool.
that's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, man. But I hope one day maybe you do get a chance. You never know.
Oh,
Maybe.
if I do, you'll never hear the end of it. I'll do a 4-hour live stream just gushing about the 3 minutes and be like, and then she said hello.
She breathed in my direction.
And then she took my Sharpie.
Right? That's awesome, man. Val, thank you so much for putting the link in the chat for Grande's Graveyard. And again, and I know a lot of you guys just coming in. By the way, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps to support the channel. But make sure that you guys subscribe to Grande's Graveyard. You will not regret it. He's just absolutely amazing. There you go, Hulk Hogan. Love it.
I got the red and yellow on.
You do, man. It's like I love it. Oh my god. Brian said that he met George Romero. Very cool.
He
I
was
wish I
the
wish I
best
could have met him.
horror celebrity I ever met. So definitely sweetest guy.
Wow. Awesome stuff, man. Uh Brian saying same with me with the ranking of the dead films, but I'm awfully crazy. He said I'm not awfully crazy about Night, but I know it's a milestone in horror cinema history. Yeah. Yep.
Definitely.
Absolutely, man. Let's see. And Ronan's doing the work of the people, keeping an eye on the likes and the live chat. That is so cool. And I know he's going to be subbing to you because Ronan is just a huge horror fan and very, very awesome in the community. Saying we currently have 24 watching and 32 likes. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for keeping track. You're all right. You are all right. Um, let's see. And Miss C, I think I asked this already, saying she says for Grande, if you had a chance to remake a Giallo or Italian horror movie, would you, or would you rather make an original? And I think you had said you'd rather make an original.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely, man. Now, with all that being said, when we talk about movies today, what is your thought on modern horror, like within the last 15 years? Are there any films that stand out to you, or movies that you um, recommend to people? I mean, how is your thoughts of things that are going on nowadays?
I mean, as far as a state of the genre,
Hmm.
it seems like there's a few different camps. I mean, I know there's the people that love the A24. Yeah, no, we're not remaking that one, Sean. Definitely not remaking that one. I'm good on
Right.
that. There's a few camps though. You have the Blumhouse people that's horror is more tongue in cheek and of course
Mhm.
like popcorny. Then you have the A24 people that horror has to be deep and have a metaphor and all these different meanings. They're more like very messy toned like drama films. You know, that's the A24 stuff. And then there's stuff in between that don't fall under either category. That's kind of a little bit one way, a little bit of the other. So that state of the genre wise, I think it's a mess. And I don't really consider myself in any of the camps. But as far as if there's horror movies that I would recommend, definitely over the, I mean, few and far between, but definitely I love It Follows. I thought It Follows was the horror movie that should have probably moved us ahead, you know, for years to come. Unfortunately, it just seems to be a very divisive movie that split people down the middle. You know, I loved The Lodge. That was a great movie I saw a couple years ago in the theater right before the pandemic hit. I saw The Lodge in the theater. I mean, and it was a packed theater for a movie that was so independent. And I remember the
Mhm.
movie ended and a lot of people openly heckling the movie like that was bullshit, that was garbage. Oh, like throwing like, you know, the whole 9 yards. And I was sitting there, I kind of got up in my chair. I was like smiling. I was like, I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I fucking can't believe this. Like I've actually, you know, a very rare situation. Usually it's the other way around where everyone, oh my God, and they're throwing babies in the air. And I'm sitting there like bunch of nonsense. X, Y,
Right.
and Z. You know, that's usually so for me to be on the other coin, you know, the other side of the coin there, I was like, wow, that's so surreal. So I love The Lodge. I love It Follows. I thought The Lighthouse was a wonderful movie. I thought Robert Eggers is really The Witch, both of the movies he made.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought he just brought something so different to the genre that I really enjoyed. Then
Mm.
there are some good up and coming filmmakers out there, man. There's Colin Minihan, I think is a really underrated name, doesn't get enough. Mickey Keating. There's a lot of, you know, underrated, undersung talent out there that I definitely try to support as much as I can.
Mm.
In the genre. But yeah, no, it is few and far between, man. It's definitely not. I couldn't give you a top 10 off the top of my head. Cabin in the Woods,
Mhm.
if that makes the top the last 15 years, I think it does. Cabin in the
Yeah.
Woods, a great one. Love Cabin. Insidious, a lot of stuff. So yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
I would say on the state of the genre, meh, but I could give you
Yeah.
some movies for sure.
Yeah, you know, I think it's funny because the genre it had I mean I actually just talked about this if it wasn't earlier today, it was the other day, but you know, I think it's starting to get a little bit more balance as far as some fresh blood, some fresh meat. But we're still in that camp of the long-standing franchises, which, you know, I have two mindsets on that because one, you know, I can appreciate a lot of the long-standing franchises, you know, whether it's Friday or Nightmare or Scream or Halloween or whatever, because I grew up on a lot of them. You know what I mean? And I realize, kind of like what you said, like some of these remakes or these sequels, they're reaching a newer generation, a younger generation of horror fans, and hopefully they will also go back and check out the older movies like we did. You know, we went back and watched movies that we didn't grow up with or we weren't even born yet to see, you know. So it's interesting, but you do have, like you said, whether it's Robert Eggers or you got people like James Wan, you know, you do have these filmmakers, Mike Flanagan. You know, I think Mike Flanagan
He's
is
great.
really, I think he's great. I think he's underrated and very consistent. But you do have these horror um directors and also filmmakers that have been coming up in the last several years, you know, I'd say 10 or 15 years, and they're really trying to, you know, make their mark. But it's tough. It's tough because, you know, it's funny because, and even in these chats, I know because I have, you know, a lot of people that talk about it and a lot of comments, you know, horror fans, they talk about that they want new stuff, you know, right? And I know that, you know, obviously if they say it, that's what they mean. But we got to put our money where our mouth is too. You know, when these movies come out,
That's the
we got to
problem.
we got to support them. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, a movie like It Follows, you know, or a movie like The Lighthouse or The Witch. You know, The Witch, I think is The Witch is a fantastic film.
Me
I think
too.
it's a fantastic film, but it didn't make any money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was critically praised, but it's not like they were like, "Oh my gosh, this movie is, you know, it's made us a lot of money." Because studios, that's what it's a business at the end of the day. So I think that we're still in a situation where the horror fandom has to continue to try to step up and support these solo projects, these newer projects, as much as they do for the long-standing popular projects. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense.
Oh, that makes
Um,
perfect sense, and I would even
yeah,
go a step further than that. I don't know how much studios even wanna take chances anymore because they know that they have your money when it comes to the Screams that they release and the Saws and the
that's right.
Halloweens, and they know they're making their money before you even walk into the theater. It doesn't matter what they produce, and that Halloween
Hmm.
Ends movie was a perfect example. Like, people, even
Hmm.
the diehard fans, were upset with it.
Right.
That's how they know they have your money before you're in there because a lot of people were upset.
Hmm.
And that's the thing. I agree. I do really want to embrace the young up and comers and independent stuff, and I try to. But I also think too, a big thing with the community and a big double edged sword, if there is one, of the internet, is that everyone and their mother has opinions, and it always seems divisive. I
Yeah.
like, think about it. Elm Street in '84, that was a movie that it just changed everything, and
Right.
everybody was loving to talk about Elm Street. If you had the internet back then, I wonder, would there have been people, oh, I didn't really think it was that scary, and you know what, I think it's
That's true.
overrated a little bit.
Hmm.
That wasn't happening back then because you didn't have this back then.
That's
Now,
right.
no matter what it is, whether I love it or not, It Follows, I loved. I heard a lot of people say, oh, it was a bunch of nonsense. Hereditary, I
Hmm.
despised it. I was on the other side of that coin where everyone, oh my God, it scared me half to death. I'll never sleep
Hmm.
again. X, Y, and Z. I was like, what are you talking about? The movie ends with the kid wearing a Burger King crown in a attic with a bunch of middle-aged, fat, naked women. And people applauding it like it's the next best thing. I didn't see what they saw. But at the same time, I'm a part of that problem because I think we need to embrace that new thing so the copycats come out of it. Like, that's
Right.
why Scream was such a big deal, man. All the neo slashers we have Urban Legend, we have, I Know What You Did Last Summer, we have Valentine. We need that type of
Right.
an era to happen. We haven't really had it since Paranormal Activity, right? It
That's
was
true.
Saw. That moved us on from the torture and the found footage, and then it was the Paranormal Activity that moved us on from the torture stuff. And there really hasn't been that next movie to just change it because I think so many people have an opinion now, and it's
Hmm.
great. But it's also it's like, damn, like, we need to all embrace something in order for them to stop with all of these Saw 10s and
Hmm.
Halloween 11s and Saw, like Scream
Hmm.
7. I think they're on. I mean, it's
Yep.
just
It's
it's just
7.
so overkill. But it's oversaturation because they know they have your money. That's why.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's the name brand. It's the thing that people trust, quote unquote trust. It's the thing that people have grown up on. And they're saying to themselves as a business, they're saying, we will take this as a more safe risk than if, and like Neil's mentioning in here in the chat, than a movie like Men, which Neil, I agree with you, Men. I don't know. That movie is a beautiful movie, but I don't know what I saw either. It was it was crazy, that movie Men. Oh my gosh. Um, but yeah, that's how the studios are looking at it, man. They're at the end of the day, it's all about money. You know what I mean? And they're figuring, hey, why make an original movie that we don't know whether or not it'll be successful when we can make a sequel or a requel or reboot to something that has always been successful.
Exactly.
You know what I
Why
mean?
gamble when I know I can win on this hand? It's just
Exactly.
that's how it
Yeah.
is now.
And that's why, and the other thing too, and I know you do this a lot too on your channel, which is why I absolutely love it. But that's why I love talking about, you know, foreign horror to movies that are kind of in the background, indie films, stuff like that, up and coming directors, and trying to put that out there. But it's tough, man. Even in the horror community, there are people. I've literally had people tell me, and you know me, I mean, you can see it right behind me. The Trinity. I grew up on the Trinity, so I'm always gonna love those movies, and that's just how it is. And newer movies, I'm gonna check them out, and usually it's kind of like, but I'm gonna check them out. That's how I am. But I've literally had people tell me, you know, uh, if we're not talking about Friday the 13th, I'm not listening. Or if we're not talking about Halloween, or if we're not talking about Scream, I'm not listening. And I always think to myself, and everyone makes their own choice. Yeah, that's fine. But I always think to myself, man, you are missing out on some really cool shit out there that no one gave enough credit to. Like even when we were coming up, there's a lot of like, we do our slasher movie club on Mondays, and I had thought I had seen a lot of slasher films throughout all my years of being a horror fan. We're talking about decades of watching movies.
Sure.
And I'm still finding underrated gems. I'm still finding new movies that I'm like, holy shit, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing because it just shows me that there's always other things to have an open mind about. And I just hope that, people continue to try to have an open mind with movies because, like you said, we gotta take a chance on newer horror. We gotta
Yeah.
take a chance on these new directors because who knows, they can be the next Wes Craven or David Cronenberg or George Romero. You know what I'm saying? We got to give them a chance, just like those guys had their chance back in the 70s and the 80s. You know
And
what
I
I'm
always
saying?
say that too with all of the sequels that come out now. Like
Hmm.
it's people are, oh, if they ever do another Elm Street, it should be Mike Flanagan. Yeah, I mean, I love Mike Flanagan, and would
Hmm.
it be great? Sure, but I don't think Mike Flanagan wants to do that. I mean, Mike Flanagan should keep
Right.
being him, man. Do
Right.
Haunting
Do
of
his
Hill
thing.
House and Oculus and Hush and all these great, wonderful original movies that
Hmm.
he has made and has established his name. I feel like if
Right.
you had handed Wes Craven, yeah, you want to do this Nightmare on Elm Street movie? Now we want you to do another Wolfman. Like that's it. Like we're not going to let you. You don't know what we could be potentially being robbed of, man. It just that's
Yeah.
kind of how I look at it.
Yep. Agreed, man. Neil makes a good point too. He says it seems a lot of horror fans want something new as long as it's the same. I love that, man. I
It's
love
true.
that. It's true. Totally agree, man. I totally agree with you. And our good friend Carrie, what's up? Carrie Crave Cinema in the
Of course, you
house.
subscribed to me today. Thank you. I subbed you back.
Carrie she's top dollar. She is awesome. And trust me, if you get the chance to, talk with her and connect and so forth, you're gonna have a great friend. Seriously, she is very very cool, and we love you, Carrie. Seriously, and I'm glad that you get a chance to check out John because seriously, Grande's Graveyard, you're gonna love it. This is so up your alley, Carrie. Seriously, so that's awesome, man. Very very cool. Miss Carter was not a fan of the movie Men. A steaming pile of poo. There you go. Polar's in the chat too. What's up, Polar? Good to see you. Awesome, awesome. Hale saying Halloween Ends broke my heart. It broke a lot of hearts, man. It really did. Now, we gotta talk about the trilogy. You had seriously, I'm a Michael love. I love Michael. But when you had said, I forgot how we got on this conversation kick, but when you had said that Michael Myers had become Michael Wick, the John Wick of horror, I was like, first of all, I was like, no, okay, you're
Yeah.
right. It had me cracking up, man. No, and I think Halloween is a great example of this thing we're talking about when you have these OG franchises that are still around, they're trying to repurpose them for a new generation. Overall, what were your thoughts on the trilogy as far as what they tried to do and what didn't work?
So I'm speaking for myself, definitely not the
Mhm.
majority here. I am the
Yeah.
ultimate minority on this opinion. So please,
Mhm.
heed my warning to the trilogy lovers out there. Um, I hated all three of those movies,
I
like
know
with a
you did.
burning passion. And to me, the 2018 one is actually the biggest offender of the three. And I know a lot of people are probably, what?
Ooh.
What? It's the truth. And I feel like, okay, that movie came out, and to me, the biggest offense it does, and among many, is it destroys the Laurie Strode character. It really
Mhm.
destroys the Laurie Strode character. Number one, the whole idea was let's erase the sequels. None of them happened. Even Halloween
Mhm.
2, even though it was the same night, never got that. But whatever. Okay, Halloween 2 didn't happen. Whatever. They're not brother and sister anymore. So if they're not
Right.
brother and sister anymore, why not go a different direction? Why bring Jamie Lee back at all? Oh, money. Okay.
Mhm. Yep. You
Lame.
gotta
To
get the
me,
money.
lame. If you wanted to really, oh, it's scarier if they're not really okay, then don't bring her back. It's
Mhm.
just gets out again, and that big mistake. Number one. Number two, the off-screen kills in that movie to the point where I was pulling my hair out in the theater. I call it Halloween off screen. That's the big. I call it Halloween off screen 2018. That's the rig I've given it because it's just a joke. And of course, her character, which in H2O, which is not a great movie either. H2O is not great. At least they got her character right. She was afraid. She watched 10, 20 people get killed all these years ago. You know, she had, changed her name, changed cities. But at the end, when her child is harmed by Michael Myers, she locks the gates behind her. I've got to fight him. I've got to stand up. I've got to fight him. That was a good arc for her character, a good closing for her character. Let's not mention Resurrection. Then
no, we don't. Well, on this channel, sometimes we do mention Resurrection because we get so many good laughs from them.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
there's our boy right there.
Busta!
It's our boy.
I am a fan of Dangertainment, goddammit. But her character in these new movies, it was like the crazy cat lady from The Simpsons or something. Like she's now, I'm a wacky drunk. I'm down in wine at family dinners. I've got the long Grammy gray hair. I'll only talk to you if you have $3,000 and if you're a podcaster. I prayed he'd get out. I prayed for. He killed 2 of your friends and one of their boyfriends in this chronology. What are you so traumatized for? And then this same character 2 movies later, oh, you killed my daughter a couple years ago? Nah, it's no big deal. Yeah, Halloween, it just makes me want to show my yits. What? Like she says that line and she's shaking a pumpkin, and I'm like, what did they do to Laurie Strode? What? This is not Laurie Strode. That I forgot my chemistry book. No, that's not the same lady. This is the crazy cat lady from The Simpsons. If she got an unlimited supply of wine, it's atrocious what they did to her character, to the point where I was just like very upset about it. And then of course, all 3 movies not being anything alike. The first one, it's okay. We're going to try to be as John Carpenter as we can. Yeah, you failed miserably with that. The second one, he's Leon the Professional. He's Michael Wick now, just cleaning out the entire fire department. And we bring back Lonnie Elam. We won't bring back anybody from Halloween 2, but we're going to bring back Lonnie Elam because it was so personal between he and Michael Myers, even though he never saw him.
That's right.
I've got to face him alone in the Myers house. God, you never even saw him. Oh, God, geez. The Ends movie was a riot. The Kills movie was a riot. How like silly it was. It was just basically let's just do Friday the 13th with Michael Myers. I think that's what they were trying to do. And then the Ends movie, which seems to, even the people that loved the first 2 hated this one. So that makes me think, I'm like, see, that bullshit was there all along. It just took 3 movies for it to finally, for other people to smell it too. And what happened with that was, we're going to bring in Corey Cunningham, and he's the next guy. And Michael went from the Terminator to now he's Old Man Jenkins and can't do anything. And the final battle. Oh my God, the poster. It's a 2-hour movie where the final battle is like 5 minutes of it. And they put Michael Myers on the car like he's the Griswold family Christmas tree, drive him down to the goddamn meat grinder, body surf him like he's Jack Black in School of Rock, and throw him in there and all hold hands and sing Dahu Boris. I mean, it's just a bunch of nonsense. That trilogy, David Gordon Green did not say Halloween. He didn't. I like some of his other films. I like Pineapple Express. I like Your Highness. I like the guy. I think he's made some good films. He didn't say horror. The writing was just so all over the place, those 3 movies. Atrocious. I hate them. That's my most PG rant I could give.
Well, I remember the first time I heard you rant about Kills, and I remember we had messaged each other and stuff like that, because obviously everyone was talking about it. I mean, that was one thing that was pretty common. So many people were talking about these movies on both sides of the fence. And man, when you were going off on it, it cracked me up so much, because obviously I enjoyed the movies. So I was like, well, man, I got to hear what he didn't like about it. And when you went down the road with the whole Michael Wick thing, and I had to sit back and say, yeah, you're right. It cracked me up so bad, man. I've never forgotten it since. Obviously, that's why I knew when we were going to do this. I had to go back down memory lane with you, because I think, and here's the thing, and this is a great example. Like, we were egging on with Eric earlier, about Jason Goes to Hell and the Elm Street remake, because he loves them. We don't. But it just goes to show you how people can like different things or hate different things for different reasons too, man. Because the issues I had with those movies, and I didn't have as many issues with the first two as some people did, but they were different reasons. You know, they were different issues that I had versus the many that you had. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It is just, but it's fun. It's fun talking about it though, man, because I do think that there was some inconsistent tone throughout the trilogy, which is what makes when you look at it as a trilogy, there's weakness in that, because a trilogy is supposed to tell a story, you know, from A to Z. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
you look at, like you said, the Dead trilogy, if you look at freaking the original Star Wars trilogy, if you look at the Lord of the Rings, you know, it's like there are great trilogies out there. And this one, you know, it was all over the place. Some of that was, you know, the pandemic shit came in and, you know, they kind of, you know, deep sixed a few ideas of what they were going to do. But yes, I agree. The trilogy as a whole had some inconsistencies in it. But I love hearing you talk about it because, again, it's a great example of a long-standing franchise that is popular. And here you got Blumhouse. They're going to take a chance on that because they know they're going to get your money.
Yeah.
They know it. And that's why they bring in Jamie Lee Curtis as well, because they know by doing that, her movies, the movies that she's in, it makes more money, you know, just like they did with H2O. It's just, that's just the name of the game. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
no, they were smart. Listen, they knew that no matter what, even with the Ends movie, that you don't see Corey Cunningham on any of the posters. It was them back to back, like it was a WWE Armageddon pay-per-view. The end is here. It's the goddamn end of this, and it was barely about them.
Right.
Oh my
I
God.
know.
And
Yeah,
Michael's
they
hiding in
definitely
the sewer. Oh,
they marketed it so wrong, man. And you know, for some of us that were kind of, you know, not insiders, but we kind of knew some of the things that were going on with it. You know, we were prepared for it a little bit, and we talked about it quite a bit on different streams. But for the average moviegoer, I feel so bad for a lot of them because they were totally blindsided, because the movie was not about this ultimate showdown between Michael and Laurie. That was nothing about it at all. So it's too bad they did that. And I hate it when studios mismarket a movie. I truly hate that, because you do feel like you get gypped, you know?
yeah, but at the same, they did their job. I mean, if you put
True.
Corey Cunningham on the poster and was like, Michael's in this movie for X amount of time, and it was I don't remember the exact amount of time. I only sat through it once because my brain
Right.
couldn't handle it. But if you did that, people would be like, wait a minute, he's only in it for this many minutes. Nope,
Right.
lose your money, and they know they got your money. So put him on the cover, put flames behind them. God damn it.
Right. Oh man. Polar saying Resurrection is a great Halloween parody. It's something. It's something. It's something, man. Hale saying trick or treat, motherfucker. Right. You gotta love Busta. Polar says this epic rant got you a new subscriber. There you
Yes.
go. There you go. Miss C saying rumor has it Busta taught Mr. Knight martial arts, in particular the famous roundhouse kick. I'm just kidding, Knight. That kick was horrendous, and you know that, Miss C. He was doing, man. I've seen and she likes to mess with me because I teach martial arts. That stuff he was doing in that movie was horrendous. Funny as hell, but horrendous. You're gonna beat Michael Myers with kung fu, bad kung fu at that. I'm telling you, man.
Hey man, Paul Rudd and Busta. There's the only two people ever beat up Michael Myers.
That's true. Oh my gosh, that's true, man. Ronan said, "Let's calm down. Ends isn't the worst. It's not good, but let's chill because at least it isn't Resurrection." Jesus.
I would 1,000% watch Resurrection over Ends. 1,000. I'd watch over any of them.
There's a lot of people that do. Well, actually, there's a lot of people that are coming around on Resurrection and enjoying it. I like to bust his chops, and we were just talking about it on a Versus stream the other week, which was a really fun live stream. I like to bust his chops, but it has moments. It has moments, and as much as Busta irritates me, there's that other side of me that gets a laugh out of it. So it's almost like I'm being entertained one way or the other. You know, it's crazy to say, man. It's crazy to say. Neil says, for the uncensored rant, you'll find it only at Grande's Graveyard.
Yeah, that's as PG as a rant as I go. I think I ranted on the first two for like an hour bitching about those two movies.
Man, I remember, like I said, man, I'll never forget it because I'm like, damn, he really hates this shit. And I was like, I was intrigued because, you know, like I said, I always like listening to your thoughts, man. It was crazy. It's crazy stuff. Let's see. Neil saying there was more Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs than there was Michael Myers in Halloween Ends. That's true. It is true. Oh my gosh. Ronan saying, as a martial artist, I too find pain in scenes with fake martial arts. I know, man. It's like, come on, you guys can train a little bit and look a little bit better, man. Seriously. Polar saying, loving all these live streams today. You guys get me through the workday, and I love you for it. Well, thank you, Polar. We appreciate you and all the support. And like I said, you will have a great time checking out Grande's Graveyard, no doubt about it. Now, as we start to wind down, man, because I know I don't want to keep you too long. I want to make sure I respect your time. And this is like I told you before we even went live, we could do this for a long time because it's just so much that we could talk about, and we're both so passionate and we love these movies. But as we wind down, do you have anything that you are either planning or want to pass on to people as far as what you're going to be doing on your channel soon?
Actually, you know, that's a fun question there because for first thing when it comes to the show, I usually do the show like I schedule a month in advance, and I have the schedule. It's on my community tab. Now, I don't know if you have access to my community tab now. I don't know how you share pictures and stuff on here. I'm actually not too hip with that. But I'm actually right now just started last weekend filming a short horror movie. And I have some cool behind the scenes shots of that. So if you guys, you know, subscribe or want to check out my community tab, there's pictures of that on there.
Nice.
But yeah, so I wrote it myself, writing, directing, producing the whole 9 yards. We got a wonderful cast, a wonderful crew, cinematographer, assistant director, you know, production assistant, all the stuff that I just never thought was going to happen. It's always kind of been a bucket list thing for me to make a horror movie. And to get this chance to do it now was just so fun. I was actually at a party a few months ago. It was like the week after my birthday. And I met this kid there, and his name was Josh. And Josh was like, "Hey, you know, I've done so many theater productions. I know you're a big horror movie guy. He's like, did you ever think about making your own one day?" I was like, "Wow, I can't afford a feature." He was like, "What about a short?" He was like, "Could you, you know, produce a short?" And I said, "Yeah, I could pay a cast and crew for a short, just to depend on how many days filming, stuff like that." And so I took a short story that I wrote. It was called, and I guess this is the title drop, "Down by the Bay" is the name of it. Yeah, the old nursery rhyme to play on that. And we started filming. I rented out a campsite. We filmed a campfire scene, and we filmed some scenes in the woods. And we got some more filming to do this weekend, some more scare sequences, chase sequence, horror sequences, all that good stuff. So I figured that'd be a fun thing to drop here and let people know, you know, that's what's to come. Now, I don't know how I'm going to market it or distribute it. Like, I don't know if it's going to be debuted on the channel. I'd love to try to get into some like short film festivals. You know, and I know some of the criteria there is, oh, it can't be on disc, it can't be on YouTube, it can't be here, there, wherever. So I mean, that is what it is. But yeah, no, it's something I'm really excited about, looking forward to this weekend. I've been nervous, a little overwhelmed, but it all went well. The first night of it all went so well, and it was just so surreal to finally direct after, you know, it's one of those, it's a question, you know, it's like, oh, you can judge wine, but can you make it type of deal. So now, or in my case, you can taste Mountain Dew, but can you make Mountain Dew? And then we'll see how my code red, you know, measures up to the rest of the bunch. But yeah, that's my gimmick right now. That's what's going on, and I'm very, very excited about it. So I figured it'd be a fun way to promote that on here.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I'm excited for you, man. That's awesome. That's definitely a great bucket list item to knock off, man. That's awesome.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Just, I've had the opportunity, thankfully, over the past couple of years to do a lot of things I never thought. You know, I went to Pittsburgh and I met, you know, almost the entire cast of Dawn of the Dead that I'd always wanted to meet. And I've had a lot of good experiences over the past few years. And this was one that I'm just having a great time and adventure with now. So it'd be surreal if the whole thing turned out good and get some notoriety. That's like the ceiling, if you will. I'd love to shatter it. But you know what, man? It's just such a fun time working, man. So it's just been a lot of fun for me.
Absolutely,
so
man.
Looking forward to that this weekend.
Well, definitely, man. When it's all said and done, man, you gotta. I would love to, you know, take a look at it, talk about it, and you know, put some eyes on it and stuff like that, man. Because I love, obviously, just being passionate. I love watching stuff, man. So to be able to see something that you have your hands in, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Man, that would be cool. I'm so excited to, even if people like, it's funny. Like I had one or two people be like, "What if someone does a Grande rant on a Grande movie?" I was like, "Oh my god!" Number one, I'd be humbled if anyone just had the passion of
Right.
anger like that. But
Yeah.
number two, I mean, as long as they didn't insult me or my mother or anything off limits, I would be all for it, man. If that's the thing, man. I can't be a hypocrite. I can't come on here and say all these mean things about the David Gordon Green movies and I can't take it. That's that. That's not the way it works. You got to be fair. And I'm a big believer in being fair. So if people see it and hate it, I hope you come at me with a Grande rant. I think that would be very fun.
Absolutely, man. Very, very cool. May's coming in with a $2 super chat saying, "Thank you both for this awesome stream. So epic." May, thank you. Seriously.
Thank you.
That's very, very cool of you. You're all right. You're all right. Ronan saying, "Much love, all, much respect. See you all next time. Be safe. Gonna watch some OG Friday 13th while eating my Japanese style
There you
ramen."
go.
There you go. That's awesome, man. And Miss C has been holding the flag down all day today. Like she needs to be on the payroll saying, "Please subscribe," which is
if I made any
true.
profit, she would be.
She would be. That's right. That is right. Thank you, Miss C. Seriously. And Hale is a fan of the Five Deadly Venoms movie. It's an awesome classic. I love it too. I love it too. Eric said, "Grande, can we get They're Coming to Get You, Barbara?"
They're coming to get you, Barbara. Stop it. You're acting like a child. They're coming for you, Barbara. Look, there comes one of them now.
This is one of them now. I love it. It's awesome, man. All right. Well, look, guys, we're going to get ready to wind on down here. This has been absolutely fantastic. One other thing I did want to throw out here, and this was a question I think Mateo had asked earlier that I didn't get to, saying, is there a remake that you saw that you thought was better than the original? Do you have one that might come to mind if there is one?
You go first. I'd have to think, man.
All right. This is the easiest question of all time for me. Okay. And I actually could name 3, if not 4. But my one answer is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer.
And if anyone's been watching my channel long enough, you probably knew I was going to say that because The Thing is one of my favorites of all time. But I also love The Fly. I love Invasion of the Body Snatchers from '78. And I also love The Blob from 1988. They're all remakes.
I think all those movies.
And I think they outdid their originals.
The Blob for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The Fly, yeah, definitely. It's funny. Most of the ones that I would pick would be 80s or 70s remakes. So I don't know. Like, I'm sure he's thinking, oh, what modern day, like more recent one. But yeah, the thing is a definite. You can't go wrong there. If I had to pick a more modern one, I would say Dawn of the Dead. I really would. I think that's the best modern. Granted, it's almost 20 years old now. Doesn't that make you feel old? I remember when I was 7 when that came out, but still.
Right.
But Bipolar, that's my favorite drink in the world. Just saying. Also, love your hair. It's the code red color. So I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. But Bipolar.
She's awesome. Trust me. She is awesome. I love it. Hey, look at this. Coriander stepping in. You're all right, girl.
Coriander.
She's too funny. She went to go see the Barbie movie with the little ones.
Oh, no way.
She said it was great. Oh, that's good, babe.
Cool.
She'll be telling me all about it. Good to see you, sweetie. All right. So anyways, guys, we're going to get ready to head on out. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and getting to hang out with Grande's Graveyard. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to John, you got to do it. He's absolutely amazing and such a good person and also a great friend, seriously. So thank you guys for hanging out. The link is in the description. It's also been in the chat. So again, make sure you take the 2 or 3 seconds to do that and you will not regret it. Seriously. So my friend, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
I really do. And this was fun. And I definitely want to try to do something like this again, man, because this time flew by. I looked at the clock and I was like, oh my God, I've kept the ball for over an hour and a half.
I'll talk all night, man. Thursday's my night, baby. I love it.
I know, but I mean, it's just fun when you can kick back and hang out like this. And I really enjoy it so much because for me, it's almost like I'm the viewer, you know what I mean? Because I get to listen to the things that, you know, the other person is saying. So I love doing this, man. So we'll have to hook up again anyways, man. You know, like I said, the last time was so long ago, and I know you get busy and we're busy here, but we'll definitely have to do some more stuff, man, because I miss you, you know?
Dude, hey man, this was fun catching up. I had a really nice time, and like I said before, I'll say it again, man. All you've done for my channel over the years, whether it be the horror tuber nomination, you know, when I straight out of the hospital with the COVID, that was so humbling to me, and then to win it, I mean, was just surreal. And then, you know, this,
Yeah.
and I trust me, it's not lost on me how much that you know, support and admiration you show me and my channel. I do appreciate you personally too. I appreciate you. So I'm gonna throw it right. I'm gonna pass it right back to you.
Well,
Don't
man,
get
like I said, I appreciate that, man. But you know, like I said, when people are, you know, when good people are just, you know, good like you, and you're just you know, phenomenal at what you do, you know, it just good things come back, you know. And like I said, you know, any chance I get a chance to hang out with you, or to, like when we did the horror tuber thing, I was like, yeah, man, we gotta put Grande in this thing, man. And just cool stuff, man. Just cool stuff. But I'm so glad to have the opportunity to do that, and also to have that connection with you, man. It's like I said, it's a blessing. And like you said, when we got a chance to meet in New Jersey, I
that
was
was
just like,
cool.
this is so cool. Like, you know, it's just like it's kind of surreal. It's like, okay, this is cool. This is, you know, um, that's why doing this stuff is so cool. You know,
Yeah.
I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but it's like it's emotional in the greatest way possible, because it's like you're getting to meet really cool people that you grow a relationship with, you know. And yeah, man,
Yeah, I'd
it's
love to
awesome.
meet all of, like, there's so many people that watch the show that I'd love to meet in person someday, and it can happen. That's the cool thing. And when it does,
Yeah.
it's like, wow, is this real life? I just thought that we were friends through a screen, but no, we're
Right.
real. We're real. Holy crap! You know, we're real people, and then it's just so cool when it finally. I mean, it was so. I was like, I remember waking up that morning and seeing you were like, oh, we're live on the line for Matthew Lillard. We're gonna be waiting here for 6 hours. I was like, I'm coming. I'm gonna see you. And
I
sure
know,
enough,
man.
I caught you on the photo op line, man, and that was so cool. I was like, this is what a small world, you know?
It
It's just
was a
so
small
cool.
world.
Small
Yeah,
world
man.
for us horror fans. We got to stick together.
Yeah, you were messaging me, and I was like telling Coriander, I was like, yo, John Grande's in the house. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be coming over. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. It's just cool, man. Like I said, what a blessing all this is. And Neil, he's saying, I appreciate both of you. We appreciate you too, man. Seriously. And you know, Neil, again, one of those other folks that's just such a cool dude, so supportive, just always around, always hyping everybody up, and humble, down to earth, you know, just a regular dude. You gotta love it, man. It's a lot of great people on here. It truly is, man. He says, I'll be in Vegas next week, so come on out and I'll show you how to gamble for
Yeah,
real.
let's go. If I didn't have work, man, I'd meet you there.
I love it. I love it, man. All right, guys. I'm gonna stop ranting on, because I could go all night with all this whole love fest, but it's real. It's totally real. So, anyways, you guys in the chat, we love you. Thank you for hanging out with us. Make sure you subscribe to Grande's Graveyard, and we will be talking to you guys soon. First of all, you know, and I was about to say I'll say my thing, but let you do your outro too, because it's
Oh,
funny, because no, man, you have one of the best of all. Like I said, I love everything you do live anyways, but I'll let you do your outro, then I'll do mine.
okay, fair enough. Well, next week on Grande's Graveyard, we're going to have season 1 and season 2 reviews of Tales from the Crypt. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm super excited to be discussing all things Crypt Keeper and Tales from the Crypt, one of the great horror anthology shows. And you can catch us next time only on the Graveyard.
I love it, man. I love it. All right. So hold on real quick, because I got the little outro to play. We'll talk backstage. For the rest of you guys, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.